And CEOs, I'm sure you are registered, but also for the arrangements, some may be wondering, maybe I don't have the program. In the foyer, you see the QR code, so you just scan that. And if the technology fails you, you can ask. You never get wrong. There's nothing wrong with asking. It's only when you don't ask and you do the wrong thing, that's when the problem comes. But just be brave enough to ask if you can't get the QR code. In the foyer, it gives you the program that will help you about the shuttle and everything else. And I believe we all slept well, especially after the cocktail. And if we didn't, there's enough water to keep us alert. So my name is Jonah Ponga. For those that didn't meet me yesterday, it's a very simple name. It's Jonah Ponga. And some people, I told them, don't ask me about the meaning of the name, but they still took the courage to ask what it means. When I'd clearly said, don't ask. But you can ask me today, I'll tell you, but not now, maybe later. Okay. The group that you see are invited guests as well. And they look very smart. I would like to invite you to stand as we welcome our dignitaries, the Vice President and his entourage. Please remain standing as the next generation sing the national anthem. Those were the voices of the next generation to whom you are passing the baton to. You may be seated. Thank you. Once more, let me greet you formally. Good morning and welcome to this event this morning. My name is Jonah Ponga, who is directing the ceremony this morning. It's good to see all of you looking sharp and very well dressed. Now, to start, I'd like to invite the District Commissioner, Mr. Ndaba Nkosinathi, to come and introduce our guest. Mr. Gaolathe, please.
Thank you, the Director of Ceremonies, the Vice President of the Republic of Botswana, Honorable Member of Parliament for Maun West, our Chief, Chairperson for CISNA, Chairperson for NB Northwest District Council Chairperson, honorable guests, good morning. I'm here to present to you our esteemed guests for this occasion. Kindly allow me to introduce to you our Vice President of the Republic of Botswana, who is also the Minister of Finance, Mr. Ndaba Nkosinathi Gaolathe. Ladies and gentlemen. We are honored to have you, Mr. Vice President. As I proceed, I introduce to you our Member of Parliament for Maun West, Honorable Caterpillar Kanayingura Higuama. Among us, we have our Deputy Chief for the Botswana tribe, Nkosinathi Gaolathe. We have the Chairperson for Committee of Insurance, Non-Bank Financial Authorities, CISNA, Mr. Kenneth Simata Matomola. And then we have the Chairperson for Nibfira, who is Mr. Thabo Emmanuel Khadingwe. I also recognize the board members that are with us here today from Nibfira. Let me kindly introduce the Council Chairperson for Northwest District Council, Honorable Itrumen Kilbetsing. He was here just with us. I further proceed to introduce to you the Deputy Permanent Secretary, Ms. Buikanyo Matipa from Finance. We have the NB Acting Chief Executive Officer, Ms. Verily Mulatedi. I therefore acknowledge all the Chief Executive Officers that are with us here today. We have our Council Secretary for the Northwest District Council, Mr. Tatayothe Balapi. I wish to also indicate that we have different heads of departments, parastatals, private companies here, and NGOs, the media house present. Distinguished guests, you are equally recognized. I'm Ndaba Nkosinathi, the District Commissioner for Northwest District, which administration center is here in Maun. As you know, Maun is the gateway to the Delta, is the tourism hub of Botswana. And when we brag, we say it's the place of natural wonders. Have a good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Waloka, for those introductions. We appreciate that. The next person to speak to us will be the NB FIRA board chairperson, Mr. Tabu Hadingwe, and he's here with us and is going to address us for his welcome remarks.
Right. Good morning. Thank you, Master of Ceremonies. Your Honor, the Vice President of the Republic of Botswana and Minister of Finance, Mr. Ndaba Nkosinathi Gaolathe, the District Commissioner of this here town, an Honorable Member of Parliament, Maun West, the Deputy Chief of the Botswana, Mekhosi Moremi, Deputy PS in the Ministry of Finance, the Chairperson of CISNA and your Vice Chairperson, Secretary General of CISNA, esteemed members of the Board of MBFIRA, your CEO and Executive Management, members, esteemed members of CISNA, distinguished General Council members, members of the media, all invited guests, Borra Leboma Dumelang Kapula. Dumelang Kapula. Aine. It is both an honor and a privilege to welcome you all to this beautiful town of Maun, to this 48th annual meeting of the General Council of the Committee of Insurance and Security and Non-Banking Financial Authorities, CISNA. It would have been apt, as usual, as culture, for our good chief to have welcomed you, but allow me to do the same, at least to this gathering. Allow me to also acknowledge the presence of His Honor, the Vice President of Botswana, and the Minister of Finance, Ndaba Nkosinathi, among us today, and whom each one of us at least met briefly even yesterday at the arrival cocktail dinner, where he paid us a warm courtesy visit. And we appreciate you, sir, for that. Today marks another momentous opportunity for MBFIRA and the country to host this year's CISNA 15-member state event. For those of you who've been around a while, this is not the first time we're hosting, after having done so in 2017. On behalf of the board and management of MBFIRA, I indeed extend my deepest appreciation to you for your presence here today. This gathering is far more than just a routine calendar event. Allow me to say it is a powerful reaffirmation of our shared and unwavering commitment to build resilient, inclusive, and transparent financial systems across the SADC region at large. And this is our commitment. Master Ceremonies, needless to say, that we convene at a pivotal moment as the global financial ecosystem undergoes a period of rapid and profound transformation. The rise of digital assets, decentralized finance, and other innovations continuously challenge our regulatory ability. And yet, this in itself as a challenge lies for us a great opportunity to collaborate more deeply, to harmonize our standards as regulators, and to ensure that the citizens of this SADC region not only are protected, but indeed are active participants in this financial era. For years, CISNA has stood as a beacon of regional cooperation. Through its technical committees, its capacity building initiatives, and policy dialogues, you have been an instrumental organization in shaping a more coherent and responsive regulatory environment. Our task today is to build upon that strong legacy, and we commit to build better, to work together for better for the region. Master Ceremony, at Mbifira, allow me to state with some level of pride that we are committed to this mission of continuous improvement. We continue to take bold steps to enhance our regulatory effectiveness, which I like to call smart regulation. Some call it deregulation, making it easier for our stakeholders to operate within our jurisdiction. To this end, the effort is underscored by this year's earlier achievement of the ISO 9001-2015 Quality Management Systems certification that we achieved. This was indeed a milestone and a testament to our pursuit of operational excellence. Thank you. However, we recognize that excellence is not the destination, but a continuous journey. To this end, we are actively investing in technology solutions that will enhance our regulatory and supervisory solutions. These investments are designed to enhance supervisory oversight, to advance our data analytics capabilities, and to improve our risk profiling. These tools are not merely about efficiency, however. They are about gaining foresight to anticipate vulnerabilities before they can manifest themselves. I therefore strongly urge all the authorities here to continue to explore similar innovations. Let us work collectively to build a regional ecosystem where technology empowers more than it overwhelms our critical regulatory mandates. Furthermore, we must remember that financial integrity remains a bedrock of public trust. And as non-banking financial institutions, this space continuously grows in complexity and in reach. So to do these risks analysis, we need to be vigilant, and vigilance is a non-negotiable. Mbifira continues to work closely, Master Ceremony, with the Eastern Southern African Anti-Money Laundering Group and other international partners. We have enhanced reporting protocols, and we continue comprehensive sector-wide risk assessments and rolled out targeted training for market participants. Yet financial crime recognizes no borders. It is therefore imperative that we deepen our cross-border intelligence and that we begin to share this intelligence and harmonize our enforcement mechanisms across the region. Only together can we build a formidable firewall against the abuse of financial systems in the region. At Mbifira, we are taking it upon ourselves to collaborate with other institutions like FIA, Botswana Police Services, in order to get knowledge, insights, and best practices to ensure our risk profiling. Ultimately, we must never forget, regulation is not about institutions. It is about people. It is about people such as yourselves gathered here today. It is about the pensioner entrusting their life savings, the entrepreneur who's seeking a micro loan, and the family that is investing in an insurance policy for their future. It is about the people. These are the lives that our work today touches and protects and advocates for. For this reason, consumer protection and education is central to our mission. And I do hope that we do the same at your institutions. At Mbifira, we have launched a nationwide financial literacy campaigns, simplified disclosure requirements, strengthened grievances that address mechanisms of how to put the customer first. We are already seeing results. And we can safely say our methods and approach is serving the customer well. I call all CISNA members, therefore, to collectively prioritize transparency, fairness, accessibility. Let us ensure that the financial inclusion is not just a slogan, but a lived reality that citizens can serve and feel. I also encourage us to continue aligning our critical global standards from bodies like ISCO and AISI with a thoughtful tailoring between them to unique, regional context. In closing master ceremonies, I wish to extend my sincere gratitude to the CISNA Secretariat, to fellow regulators and to stakeholders for their tireless work in advancing this, our shared vision. The road ahead is undoubtedly challenging, but together it is inevitably going to be a success. May this meeting therefore serve as a catalyst for renewed collaboration, I say again, deeper trust and true transformation to impact the SADC region. I thank you.
Another round of applause from Mr. Hadinga. That was an excellent presentation. I liked what you mentioned, especially your emphasis on collaboration within the region. 15 member states, they've got to collaborate in terms of regulation. And you also shared with us the bold steps that NB-FIRA is taking, strengthening the regulatory authority. You mentioned the operational excellence, pushing operational excellence, not as an end, but as a continuous journey. With excellence, you don't get to a stop where you say, now we've reached the pinnacle of excellence. It is a life journey. And you also related to us about solving problems before they happen. That's upstream thinking that NB-FIRA is engaged in, upstream thinking, not waiting for problems to happen in the environment, but anticipating them and putting in place measures that will stop those risks from ever materializing. And one thing that is critical is training. It's quite fundamental. Most of the times, we make mistakes because we're not trained. So we start imagining things. So training, consumer training, that is key to making sure that everyone in the environment is able to play within the rules. And I also loved your acknowledgement of the complex economic environment we're living in, the geopolitical risks, the IT and cyber risks, and the financial services are working within those fields. And the good part is regulations is not about laws, it's about people. I like that. We need to look at people not as statistics, but as lives, not numbers on the balance sheet or the profit and loss or statement of comprehensive income. We are dealing with people's lives when we talk about pensions. It's lives, mothers and fathers and children. And financial inclusion should not be a slogan. Thank you so much. Those are the few things I picked up from your speech, and that was well presented. Thank you so much, sir. And this time, I would like to ask the presence of Mr. Kenneth Matomola, who is the CISNA chairperson, to give us the welcome remarks. Mr. Matomola.
Director of Proceedings, Your Honor, the Vice President of the Republic of Botswana and the Minister of Finance, Mr. Ndaba Nkosinathi Gaolathe, Apologies. And the Member of Parliament of Maun West, the District Commissioner, the Board Chairperson of NB-FIRA, the Vice Chairperson of CISNA. If you may allow me to stand on the protocol that has been established. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is my distinct privilege and honor to address you on this important occasion of the 48th CISNA biannual meeting. As you might be aware, that the meeting started already on Sunday, the 5th of October, with our subcommittees to discuss pressing issues in the region and embodying the spirit of an African proverb, which I would like to quote. It says, "It takes a village to raise a child." Today, the Governance Council also continued with its deliberation earlier in the morning, and I would like to acknowledge the significant progress and commitment you, my fellow members of CISNA, have done so far, and also to acknowledge the gracious hospitality of our host, the Botswana Authority, and this has put us in a very good frame of mind to deliberate on these important issues that face the region. And also, I would want to recognize and honor the legacy of the visionary leaders who founded SADC in Lusaka, Zambia in 1981, whose work we carry forward today. We can note that those former leaders who are all now are no longer with us when they sat in Lusaka to bring about this idea that today we can enjoy the fruits of their visionary leadership. Maybe for some of us who were just born the other day, just to remind us, who are these leaders who met in Lusaka in April 1980, which culminated into SADC that we know today. At that time, there was His Excellency Eduardo dos Santos of Angola, His Excellency Sekama of Botswana, His Majesty King Zobuza II of Eswatini, His Majesty King Moshoeshoe of Lesotho, His Excellency Kamuzu Banda of Malawi, His Excellency Samora Machel of Mozambique, His Excellency Julius Nyerere of Tanzania, His Excellency Kenneth Kaunda of Zambia, and His Excellency Robert Mugabe of Zimbabwe. May their souls rest in peace. So today, let's honor their legacy by building on the foundation that they have laid, so that our region becomes prosperous, where people can thrive in a financially inclusive financial system. Today, when we open up the 58th CISNA biannual meeting, this is a continuous process that started in April 2025 when we met at the seat of CISNA Secretariat in Mauritius. And this meeting provided some impetus of the agenda that we shall deliberate on at this biannual meeting. And this is based on our strategic plan, which is about to come to an end. And this strategic plan hinges upon three pillars: harmonization of legal and regulatory frameworks, capacity building, and market development. These priorities are essential in addressing the challenges, particularly in the rapid growth financial technology. This digital shift is a global phenomenon, demanding regional and international policy response. As highlighted by the World Economic Forum, building a resilient and inclusive financial system is critical to avoid instability and prepare our workforce for the future. Our region is committed to embracing innovation while carefully managing inherent risks, such as those to customers and investors, which are amplified by interconnectedness in financial infrastructures. Success depends on our pragmatic balance and, most importantly, on strengthened regional collaboration, cooperation, and coordination. According to the World Economic Forum, innovation solutions are critical to addressing the challenges in finance and climate. Stakeholders universally acknowledged the necessity of investing in resilient, inclusive systems to evade future instability. This aligns with our region's need to embrace financial innovation while managing risks inherent in interconnectedness. CISNA made significant progress in regional cooperation, as shown by the recent approved model laws. To build on these model laws, we must urgently address challenges facing the middle and lower classes, and also to strengthen our financial systems. This is a prerequisite for flexible policies and smart regulations heightened by public awareness of fintech and deeper collaboration that respects our unique national circumstances. Therefore, our collective effort is essential for sustainable and resilient growth. When the Governance Council met yesterday and today, we noted with considerable satisfaction on the progress made. And we also took stock in terms of our midterm review of our strategic plan. There is a strong achievement and valuable lessons that we have learned while we were executing our strategy. And I'm pleased to report that the Governance Council is confident that these lessons will provide a momentum that is needed to overcome the current challenges. And this brings me to a vital point, the need for a decisive action. We are reminded by a proverb which says, and I quote, "A roaring lion kills no game." Plans and talks are meaningless without focused and strategic execution. However, we do not despair. As Africans, we believe in another proverb, and I quote, "You can't stop trouble from coming, but you don't have to give it a chair to sit on." We will need to meet these challenges head on so that they do not take root. Honorable Vice President, this is the mindset of CISNA. We will continue to advance our vision of harmonized regulation and supervision in the non-banking sector across SADC to ensure regional integration, for fostering improved trade and service delivery. I implore member authorities to place this high on their agendas. In this work, our doctrine remains our compass. We subscribe to international standards, but we are guided by flexibility. Like a Zulu proverb, one of our nations in this part of the region warns us, and I quote what this proverb says: copying everyone else all the time, the monkey one day cut its throat. As we align the national laws with model laws, we must harmonize the principles without sacrificing the flexibility needed in our unique region where we take our regional context. We acknowledge our steadfast collaboration with SADC substructures, for example, the AML CFT subcommittee, the Committee of Central Bank Governors, and the Committee of SADC Stock Exchanges. CISNA maintains a strong collaboration with SADC AML CFT subcommittee focused on building effective regional regime for anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing. And this partnership already yielded some positive results, as demonstrated by a recent workshop conducted by SAMLAG, the Eastern and Southern Africa Anti-Money Laundering Group. The workshop successfully addressed areas of improvement, which included the effectiveness of implementation of risk-based supervision, oversight of virtual asset providers, and enhancing the understanding of money laundering, terrorism financing risks, and regulatory expectations. The high-level engagement and commitment from the member authority across the region is highly encouraging. CISNA will continue to leverage on this collaboration to identify these regional challenges and develop coordinated solutions. With respect to the central bank governance, our collaboration remains steadfast, particularly in the critical regional initiatives, such as the development of the financial markets. And in this respect, we focused much on the matter of carbon credits. With regard to the Stock Exchanges Committee, Our partnership with the Stock Exchange Committee focused on matters of mutual interest, which included the interconnectivity of SADC stock exchanges and the development of minimum listing requirements for regional adoption. Also, CISNA engaged with international standard setting bodies. In our space as the non-banking sector, we have standard setting bodies such as IOPS, IOSCO, IAIS. So we collaborate and partner with these international standard setting bodies. And this helps us to shape our regulatory and supervisory responses to ensure that we take cognizance of global trends that are emerging. It sends a clear signal to investors about the transparency that we have in the region and the robustness of our regulatory framework within the region. All this work that I'm referring to wouldn't have been possible if we couldn't make a deliberate effort to establish a secretariat with the assistance of the SADC Secretariat. Therefore, I extend my sincere gratitude to the SADC Secretariat for the pivotal role and resolute in supporting CISNA. This partnership is crucial for aligning CISNA's work with the broader SADC integration agenda to ensure that we remain informed on key administrative, technical, and political developments. And for our secretariat that is being hosted in Mauritius, we also thank the colleagues for your invaluable input and role in driving the progress and expediting the fulfillment of CISNA's mandate and vision. To the Republic of Botswana, we are deeply indebted to you, and we appreciate that the government of Botswana, through NBFIRA, is hosting the 48th CISNA biannual meetings. The arrangements has been seamless from all the logistical notes and matters, and this has created a conducive and comfortable environment for our deliberation. And thank you so much for making everything easier for us to concentrate on important matters of this occasion. As I conclude, I would like to call for an action. As we look beyond these meetings that we shall have for the few days that are remaining for this week, I urge members to support the initiative of forward-looking, where whenever we gather, we look at a theme which we can rally upon that can make sure that our deliberations are guided and become impactful and directly address the needs of our people in the region. We have observed that life expectancy across the region has moved from 55 years in 2003 to 66 years in 2023. This is a positive trend, but it brings critical long-term challenges. This demographic shift underscores a growing pressure on national savings and investments. It demands that we take pragmatic approach to regulating and supervising retirement funds, medical aid schemes, and also look at policies that are fosters financial inclusion in the non-banking sector to ensure that our people have a secure, sustainable livelihood while our population is aging. While this trend is global, our regional context requires a tailored and a robust solution. Let us remain focused on preparing for tomorrow's challenges today. As an African proverb wisely advises us, tomorrow belongs to people who prepares it today. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us prepare for tomorrow today in our meetings. And with these few words, I thank you and obrigado, merci. I wouldn't try Setswana, but ke a leboha. At least I have learned it a bit.
Thank you so much, Mr. Matomola, for that presentation. We truly appreciate it. The only scary part was when you talked about the change in demographics, 55 to 66. And those of us in that range got very worried. What are you telling us? Otherwise, thank you so much. And I enjoyed your use of proverbs there. It takes a village to raise a child when you talked about commitment for all of us to make CISNA work. You also mentioned there, a roaring lion catches no game. You can't stop problems from coming, but don't give him a chair to sit on. Copying everyone else every time. The monkey once cut his throat. I don't know what happened here. And then you say tomorrow belongs to people who prepare for action, for it today. And from what you presented, you gave us a picture of what CISNA has done, being forward-looking and a call for action. And the one thing that I also liked is you've got your strategy as CISNA. I remember you talking about it in August in Mauritius, and the fact that your strategy is not just words. I remember what somebody said, words are words, promises are promises, but only performance is reality. And the CISNA strategy is reality because you make it work. And that is a job well done. Maybe we should give CISNA a round of applause. And you also advise us to contextualize our issues, and that will help. We talk harmonization, but let's put that into context. Let's contextualize. Thank you so much for that insightful presentation. And for the legacy, taking us through the journey of where we started from. That was good, so that we know that we are carrying on the legacy from our forefathers that had the vision to look forward, to see the benefit of what we are doing today. Let's do the same and pass the legacy to our children with a stronger, resilient CISNA. At this time, I'd like to invite you to stand and acknowledge the presence of our Vice President and Finance Minister, Mr. Ndaba Nkosinathi Gaolathe, as I invite him to give us a welcome speech.
May I ask you to be seated, please? I listened very carefully to the last speech, and it has to be said, along and throughout the speech, I seemed to be inspired until the very last sentence, when he put it to us that with these few words, then all the good impressions I had harbored about his truth-telling came to doubt when he said, with these few words. May I acknowledge the presence of the Member of Parliament for Maun West, Honorable Katapila Hikuyama. I was with him in a village called Tsao Village, where I spent a year doing community service immediately after high school. May I also acknowledge the Deputy Chief of the Botswana Nation, Nkosinathi Gaolathe Muremi, and yourself, Mr. Chairman of CISNA, Mr. Matumola. Welcome to Botswana. And Bifira Board Chairperson, Mr. Thabo Khadingwi, members of the board of Nbifira, the chairperson of the Northwest District Council, Re Itumeleng Kelebetsing, the area councillor, the Deputy Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Finance, Ms. Matipa. But she is our resident pastor in the ministry. In fact, we call her Mama Tips. Acting and Bifira Acting CEO, Madame Molatedi, Deputy Governor, Bank of the United Republic of Tanzania, Msemo Kasim, the District Commissioner, Mr. Loka, heads of departments, heads of parastatals, heads of the private sector, members of the media. I did not want to say all protocol observed or that I step or ride on the protocol, because everyone who says that, it's a very, very diplomatic way of saying I actually don't know what the protocol is. So I take the risk of spelling out the entire protocol. And I can assure you that somewhere along the lines, the protocol is not quite as ordered as it should be. And this is where I say what I always say: where I have misordered the protocol, I have belief that in the heavens the protocol is reordered the way it's supposed to be ordered. It is both an honor and a privilege to deliver these opening remarks at the 48th meeting of the Committee of Insurance, Securities, and Non-Banking Financial Institutions, CISNA. We gather this morning in Maun, the place of the reeds, a fitting and poetic venue for a conversation about resilience, adaptation, and growth. For just as the reeds of Maun bend but never break, so too must our financial systems remain flexible yet strong, rooted yet dynamic, able to withstand the changing currents of our economies. Maun is more than just a town, it is a threshold to wonder, the gateway to the Okavango Delta, the living miracle where desert meets water, where life renews itself every day. There is a place, there is no place like it on earth, and perhaps there is no better metaphor for what we seek to achieve here this week: balance, harmony, and the wise stewardship of resources that sustain life and livelihoods. In Maun, song is heartbeat, dance is dialogue, and nature is orchestra. The people lived and continue to live in step with land, steadfast, soulful, and serene. Maun is beauty, Maun is balance, Maun is Botswana. This meeting serves as a platform for member authorities or non-bank financial sector regulators across the Southern African development community to deliberate on key policy and regulatory developments and share best practices. It also allows member authorities to work towards harmonization of NBFI market regulatory frameworks in the SADC region. Examples abound of NBFI's increased economic importance to our countries. In Africa's three largest economies of Egypt, South Africa, and Nigeria, the role of NBFIs in economic growth shows a significant relationship. For instance, in Egypt, NBFI development has a bi-directional relationship with economic growth. In South Africa, on the other hand, NBFI growth has been proven to drive economic growth. Closer to home, in Zambia, NBFIs have been touted for promoting inclusive economic growth through their mobile-based financial services, availing small loans to underserved populations, enhanced credit access to SMEs, financial literacy, and capacity building for managers. I congratulate CISNA for the many years of existence and service to member countries. Your longevity is a testament to your relevance and responsiveness to the fast-changing nature of financial services. Well done to all of you. My eagerness to be here today is inspired, firstly, this AGM and its subject matter firmly aligns with government's economic recovery measures through the Botswana Economic Transformation Program, or BTEP. In BTEP, government has earmarked the non-banking sector as an important contributor to our economic turnaround. Secondly, I am encouraged by the fact that CISNA, as signified by today's meeting, is leading regional integration efforts in the SADC region, bringing together diverse actors in pursuit of continual improvements of our financial systems. This brings me to the third and perhaps the most important point, and this is that there is immense, unexplored and untapped potential for growth and prosperity for our nations in the NBFI sector. Whether it is enhancement of access to capital, promotion of equity, or innovation in our financial systems, our NBFI systems are like a blade waiting to be sharpened, a rough diamond waiting to be polished for our collective good. Mr. MC, ladies, gentlemen, men and women who may not be as gentle, Botswana stands at a strategic crossroads, necessitated by the winds in the global economy. Our economy must shift from diamond dependency to a decidedly diversified path. This challenge comes at a time when world economies are experiencing volatility due to trade wars, economic fragmentation, and geopolitical instability. Our regional and country markets must innovate to solve today's pressing economic and social challenges. To address the economic headwinds mentioned here, Government of Botswana and the private sector and members of our communities have formulated the BETP, the Botswana Economic Transformation Program. This Botswana Economic Transformation Program hopes to diversify Botswana's economy beyond diamond monoculture towards an export-driven, technology-enabled economy. Our true north, or the core guiding principles of our BTAP, is, I quote, a high-income Botswana that is digitally enabled, export-driven, and economically diversified, where every citizen is employed, empowered, and fulfilled. To deliver this true north and ensure economic growth and diversification, we have selected 9 priority sectors comprising of 6 economic and 3 social sectors: agriculture, mining and energy, manufacturing, tourism and creative arts, infrastructure, financial services and digitalization. Those are the economic sectors. The social sectors: healthcare services, education and social protection. You will be pleased to know that in reaching to our true north, the BTP under financial services and digitalization sector has identified the non-banking financial services sector as a major driver of this bold new reform. Botswana has strong competitive advantages to attract investment and realize growth in this sector. These include our liberalized exchange controls, our tax incentives for financial services. This AGM is timely as we face significant challenges detracting us from growth in our domestic MBFI sector. We are contending with outdated regulatory frameworks that restrict growth. We are contending with the absence of domestically domiciled, globally competitive players. We have to contend with limited range of products in some subsectors of the NBFI services. Government, through the BTP, has taken a deliberate and strategic decision to unlock growth and competitiveness by creating a more agile, more innovation-friendly regulatory environment and a modernized approach. We recognize that the strength of our financial ecosystem lies not only in the robustness of our frameworks, but in their capacity to empower enterprise, in their capacity to inspire innovation, in their capacity to include those who have long remained at the margins of formal finance. It is our collective responsibility to ensure that women, youth, and small enterprises are not spectators in this evolving financial landscape. we must draw inspiration from what our citizens are already doing, sometimes doing it quietly, yet profoundly and effectively. Take, for instance, the Mitselo. Mitselo, our community-based savings groups run largely by women across Botswana. They are a form of organic financial governance, simple yet remarkably efficient. Month after month, these women contribute to a shared fund managed transparently by a trusted treasurer. They lend to one another, applying rules that are clear, rules that are fair, rules that are respected by everyone. They know their clients. They understand risk. They practice due diligence instinctively. They do not merely circulate money. They circulate trust. They circulate opportunity. They circulate dignity. I have seen firsthand the transformative power of these community financial systems run by women. At year's end, profits are shared, lives are uplifted, homes are built, children sent to school, small businesses are born, families are rescued from hardship through short-term credit. What we witness here is not informal finance. What we witness here is community innovation. Innovation in its purest form. And this, colleagues, is where our collective responsibility as regulators and policy makers becomes most urgent and most noble. To find ways to nurture, to find ways to protect, to find ways to scale these homegrown solutions, to develop inclusive financial products and regulatory frameworks that recognize and amplify such indigenous models, turning Mitselo and similar initiatives into instruments of rural transformation, instruments of women's empowerment, instruments of national resilience. The challenge before us, and indeed the opportunity before us, is to bridge the world of high finance with the world of community trust, to allow policy to learn from practice and innovation to grow from tradition. That ultimately is how we will make financial inclusion not just a goal, but a lived reality for every citizen, not just Botswana citizen, but every citizen of the African people and every citizen in this beautiful place that we call Africa. I am convinced that a lighter, more agile regulatory framework for MBFIs will also assist attract investment to re-energize our economy. I challenge this AGM. I conjure you, I call upon you, I cry unto you, I beseech you, I pray you, I beg you, I kneel before you to find practicable means to re-energize our people's economies. Through the pursuit of relevant parts of the SADC Protocol on Finance and Investment, CISNA works to advance our regional integration efforts. They work to harmonize to harmonize financial policies, to harmonize investment frameworks, to build institutional foundations for our NBFIs. I am encouraged by CISNA, by your efforts to support inclusive growth and access to finance through the harmonization of policies, through digital innovation, and the enhancement of consumer protection and financial literacy. These are values we actively promote to ensure that we maximize the capacity for growth and shared prosperity for our people in the region. Mr. MC, the gentle MC, ladies and gentlemen, men and women who may not be as gentle. Earlier, I referred to the untapped potential for growth of our region stemming from DFIs. I believe that SADC nations could further claim their market share in the immense continent-wide market for reinsurance, a market that stands at more than $6 billion US. Yet, currently only the top 10 nations of our continent can lay claim to 92% of that market share of this immense potential. Locked in this figure is an untapped potential for jobs, for wealth creation, for technology transfer, and enhanced credit access to SMEs. I challenge CISNA to enhance member states' capacities to claim a greater market share of the MBFI sector. Let me acknowledge the tremendous efforts made by the Non-Banking Financial Institutions Regulatory Authority of Botswana, MBFIRA, for hosting this AGM. I was hoping for an applause. This AGM is, in my view, serves not only to underscore MBFIRA's pursuit to comply with international practices, it also speaks to MBFIRA's playing an active role in enhancing, in advancing regional integration and its commitment to promoting a sound, stable, and well-regulated domestic non-bank financial institutions. In the new Botswana, we have committed ourselves to transform our country into the best managed economy on the African continent, a paragon of unity, a paragon of fairness, a paragon of inclusive prosperity. MBFIRA is our primary receptacle for policy transfer to adopt global legal policy and institutional best practices. We are determined to enhance consumer protection measures. Through MBFIRA's regulatory leadership, Botswana's MBFI sector contribution to the economy continues to grow. In the past decade, the sector has grown tremendously. For example, while total assets of licensed MBFIs were approximately 35 billion in 2013, they amounted to 185 billion in 2024. As I conclude, and I'm aware these have not been a few words. So as I conclude, allow me to touch a little bit on a significant threat that we face in climate change, as signified by the reduced predictability of the major riverine systems in Maun, where we are hosting this AGM. Extreme weather patterns are causing exceptional risks that are challenging our societies. The challenges ought to shake MBFIs and financial markets in this region into greater creative instinct. I hope our shared experiences, working collaboratively through occasions like today's AGM, will add to building a body of knowledge on how to mitigate climate change. I had the rare privilege yesterday of flying over the mighty Okavango Delta on my way to address the Khotla meetings in Soronga and Tsao. And I must confess, there are moments in life when words simply fall short, when language alone cannot hold the beauty your eyes behold. The Okavango is one such place. From above, it is a living painting, an endless mosaic of blues and greens, of silver waters meandering through the golden grasslands. Below, life unfolds in quiet majesty. Herds of elephants crossing channels like pilgrims on a sacred journey. Buffalo moving in great harmony. Antelopes leaping through the reeds. And thousands upon thousands of birds, the egrets and the herons, rising together like a song offered to the heavens. Ancient baobab trees stand like sentinels, holding the memory of generations. The Okavango is not just a place, it is a feeling, a heartbeat of creation itself. It humbles, it reminds. It reminds that beauty is not luxury. It is a form of truth, a whisper even. A whisper from nature that says, be still and remember who we are. And so I urge you, before you leave, take a moment to truly experience this wonder. Visit the nearby villages of Ditsipi and Daunara. Step onto a mokoro, a traditional dugout canoe, and let the gentle rhythm of the water carry you into the heart of this paradise. Fly into one of the lodges deep within the delta where time slows, and the only sound you will hear is a conversation between water, wind, and wildlife. Let our gray-headed herons and fish eagles greet you. Let the African jacanas dance across the lilies before your eyes. Let the impalas, the red leashes, remind you of grace. And let our people, with their warm smiles, with their songs, with their poetry and their dances, remind you of the true spirit of Botswana. Here in the Okavango, you will not just see beauty, you will feel beauty. You will breathe it in, you will become a part of it, and when you leave, you will take with you not only memories, but a piece of our soul. So once again, thank you very much for this opportunity to render and rendition not a few words, but to render and rendition the spirit of who we are, the people of Botswana, the African people, the beautiful people. May God bless you. Welcome to Maun, and I wish you a fruitful engagement. Thank you.
I would like at this point, I'd like to invite the chairperson for NBFIRA, Rea Khadingwe, to present a token of appreciation to our vice president. I think there'll be much better space down there.
Small token of appreciation, Your Honor. It is personalized. Thank you, sir.
I would like now to invite the chairperson of CISNA, Red Kenneth Matumola, to receive a token of appreciation from the NBFIRA chair. Made in Botswana from grass-fed cows, but we also eat the cows. So those that are vegetarian, you can eat the cows of Botswana because they only eat grass. Therefore, you are a vegetarian. Thank you so much, Mr. Vice President. That was very inspiring. I liked the way you shared with us the Botswana Economic Transformation Program, the strides that the government is making, and your plea for action, not just plea, your prayer for action. And you could see your conviction and your passion to make sure that the NBIs do their part, and they've got a role to play in transforming people's lives. And I also loved what you shared about Mitselo, about the women that are doing such a great job without balance sheets, and complicated financial instruments. Simple method, simple trust, a process of trust, empowering women who take care of lives. It is just amazing. It is an untapped territory. And the NBIs, like the Vice President mentioned, is an untapped territory. And looking forward, upstream thinking demands that we start thinking of how best do we facilitate these innovative initiatives, even if they're not based on technology that we know. Thank you so much for that presentation. It was very inspiring. At this time, I would like to invite the Vice Chairperson of CISNA, Dr. Grace Murazikwa, to give us a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Director of Ceremony. And here comes the woman. Yes. Thank you, ladies. I didn't see the men clapping, so I assume it was the ladies. Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Botswana and Minister of Finance, Nkosinathi Gaolathe. Honorable Caterpillar, Huakama, and I'm not going to do all the protocols, not because I don't know the protocols, Your Excellency, but I think I want to avoid some mistakes, yes. So do allow me to say all protocol observed as far as the dignitaries who are before us this morning. But I also want to acknowledge the CISNA Chairperson, Mr. Kenneth Matomola, our host, Mbifira Board Chair, Mr. Tabo Hadingwe, and all the Mbifira board members here present. Allow me also to acknowledge our fellow regulators and heads of delegations from CISNA member authorities, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, I don't know what to call what you delivered. It was poetic. It was like a rendition, truly. And I am standing here this morning really, really privileged as the Vice Chair of CISNA to deliver these closing remarks following what I think is a real auspicious opening session of the 48th CISNA General Meeting. Your Excellency, we are deeply grateful for your decision to grace this occasion with your presence and for that powerful, poetic message that you delivered, which even as you delivered that rendition, you reaffirmed Botswana's unwavering commitment to regional cooperation, financial sector development, and a very passionate plea for inclusive growth. Your words have set a formidable and necessary tone for the critical deliberations that lie ahead of us. We heard your call, your plea. You need not be on your knees for us to find practical ways to energize our economies. I also heard about the diamonds. I heard about the women, and that's why I said, here comes a woman. And we really want to appreciate the women who are making a difference in your community, which has made you notice the difference that they are making. We were greatly honored, Your Excellency, by your presence at the dinner last night and your humility to engage with delegates in such a warm and personal manner. We admired you and we all wished we could see more of this in Africa. This gesture was truly exceptional. This gesture was truly exceptional, reminding us that strong leadership values require connection and dialogue. We also watched you when you came in this morning. You didn't go straight to your chair. You walked around connecting with all the delegates, and we really want to appreciate that. To our CISNA chairperson and all the dignitaries who have graced this occasion this morning, thank you for prioritizing CISNA. We know you have busy schedules, and we really appreciate you being here with us this morning. Your presence really reminds us of the crucial importance of multi-stakeholder collaborations in navigating the evolving landscape in insurance, securities, and land banking financial services across our SADC region. As senior executives of supervisory institutions in SADC, we acknowledge that the landscape is not merely evolving, it's undergoing rapid and profound transformation. The foundational structures of our insurance and pensions industries are increasingly exposed to complex, interconnected, and often borderless risks. As such, effective supervision today demands far more than isolated national responses. It requires unified regional action. And this is why regulatory cooperation must be at the center pillar of our strategic focus. We must share knowledge, we must harmonize our standards, and we must coordinate our supervisory actions to effectively mitigate threats such as the climate risk that Your Excellency you have referred to. Financial stability of our regulated entities is increasingly tied to environmental changes. Hence, the need for supervisors to come up with frameworks for assessing and managing physical and transitional risks. Cyber risk. Cyber threats are transnational, targeting the interconnected digital infrastructure that underpins our modern financial systems. And in this regard, our collaborative efforts must focus on establishing unified incident reporting protocols and bolstering shared cyber resilience standards to protect policymakers and pensioners across our borders. And of course, the geopolitical tensions, Your Excellency, that you referred to. The global geopolitical tensions introduce such volatility, disrupt our supply chains, and pose investment risks that directly impact the long-term solvency and profitability of our regulated entities. And as such, regulated cooperation is essential for developing consistent stress testing scenarios that account for these cross-border pressures. I want to speak very briefly on leveraging artificial intelligence in supervision. Your Excellency, the complexity and speed of emerging risks in insurance and pensions necessitate a paradigm shift on how we execute supervision. And simply put, we cannot supervise 21st century risks with 20th century tools. So as SADC pursues its critical harmonization agenda, supervisors will be leveraging on artificial intelligence and other supervisory technologies. AI offers transformative potential, allows us to process vast amounts of data quickly, detect anomalies indicative of fraud or solvency deterioration, and enhance our predictive risk modeling. So it's not merely an optional efficiency tool, but a critical enabler for regulatory harmonization. By implementing the shared AI-driven analytical platforms, I'm sure we can ensure that our risk assessments are consistent, that our data standards are aligned, and supervisory interventions are timely across all SADC jurisdictions. As we move into the core of our program, Your Excellency, I want to assure you, after that very passionate, poetic call, that we will carry forward the energy and the purpose that you ignited this morning. Our discussions are going to move forward from now on, and they are going to be bold. And our decisions are going to be impactful. And our partnerships are also going to be enduring. Our mission is underpinned by a timeless truth. Unity is strength, where there's teamwork and collaboration, and wonderful things will be achieved. And so, on behalf of CISNA leadership and the Secretariat, I want to thank you, Your Excellency, the Vice President and Minister of Finance. And I also want to thank all our dignitaries and all the delegates for your presence and participation. We will now proceed with the rest of our program, confident that the foundations laid out this morning will guide us towards a successful, productive, and collaboratively resilient future. Ke a lebonga. I thank you.
Dr. Murazikwa, thank you so much for those closing remarks, for your vote of thanks. It was inspiring. You brought us to a very beautiful end of this interesting event. And I also liked your passion. You spoke from the heart, which is a good thing. Thank you. There's going to be a souvenir photo after this. I'm told it's downstairs on the right. There's a statue of a giraffe. But we are not going there now. We'll allow you to stand and allow our dignitaries to depart, and then we can follow through for the group photo. Thank you so much. I appreciate your presence. Okay, we are done. After the group photo, I think there will be lunch.